gonna do? I can't tell you, but I shock it too. Say it's your game. Do what you wanna do now.
Whoa, hello. Back here once again with another episode. This one's going to be a little bit of a different one. We are kind of flipping the script on me. And I got to adjust some levels here, do some stupid shit. But where was I? Oh, yeah. So I get asked a lot of questions where the podcast went and, why did it disappear and, what was going on. So we're going to flip the script and I'm going to have a dear friend who I have known for a very long time, and we'll get into that. But he's going to actually, I sent him the questions that viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call it, have asked, so he can ask me the questions. So I find it a lot easier for myself to answer questions when I'm asked. If I read them from a piece of paper, I'll pretty much lose my mind. But as usual, got to start the podcast off with the legal jargon. So I am not a doctor. None of my guests are doctors. We're not therapists. We don't profess to be therapists. I, however, have a therapist, and I'm good with that. So my thoughts and processes of how to handle things are mine and mine alone. And same with my guests. 2 rules of the podcast, as usual: no politics, no religion. We don't discuss them. They are too bad of a thing to start talking about. So anyway, without further ado, I would like to introduce my very dear friend who has been with me for a very long time, or I've been with him, I should say, right down to his predecessor, Mr. Jack ONeil. I want to introduce you, Mr. Ryan Smith from Shure.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well today, sir. After the nice long weekend.
I know. Well, the funniest thing is this semi-retirement thing is kind of a nice long weekend all the time for me, which
great.
takes some getting used to. I don't know why. I think, there we go. Now I can hear me. And now you're going to be too loud because I have to turn you down. See, I'm still learning all this crap. But anyway,
a lot of fun.
So a little backstory on Ryan and myself. Ryan, I was with Shure when they were called Shure Brothers, long time ago. I started with working with Shure when I was with the band Trickster when I was just a wee lad, and Jack ONeil was my Shure rep, and at the time Jack was trying to get me away from Nady, who I helped work on developing the 750 system and all that stuff like that, and just kind of just doing, I guess, what do you call it, Ryan? R&D or whatever, just kind of like testing out their crap and telling them what's wrong with it. But anyway,
that sounds good.
So neither here nor there. Jack was just such a pleasure. Always took care of me in any band I worked for. As the years gone by, Jack recruits Ryan. Ryan will be taking over for Jack in his retirement. And lo and behold, 20 plus years later, with the 35-year plus relationship with Shure, Ryan is such an amazing friend. Yeah, when we moved to Nashville, Ryan was the first one in there in August in the back of a truck, sweating his brains out, unloading a box truck to load us into the house. So, he's a dear friend and someone I trust very much, and he takes care of me too. So, Ryan, how's life?
Life is great. It's
good.
Super busy. Getting ready for the big Rock Nashville move coming up soon.
So that's right.
Yeah, picking out flooring and paint choices and stuff like that. So looking forward to a new office space. So exciting, very exciting.
Well, the good news is I just found out I'll be there in January. We'll talk about that in another time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excited to hear about that one. Yeah.
You know what that's about.
I kind of think I have a little bit of a. Yes.
I tell you everything.
Yes, you do.
So what we'll do here is I sent Ryan a list of questions that were sent to me via email. text message, in what do they call it? Kids call them nowadays DMs. Yeah, they sent me them in DMs and all this stuff. And I don't do well with like reading a piece of paper. I'm just, unfortunately, my ADHD does not allow that function in my life to happen. Um, so it's easier when I'm comfortable with someone like Ryan, who I literally can talk to about anything, asking me the question. So I'm going to go ahead and defer to Ryan. And the reason for these questions is I've gotten a lot of questions where I started the podcast, and we'll get into it with the questions, but the podcast just disappeared and it stopped for a while. There's a myriad of reasons why that happened, and we'll get into it. So I'm going to let Ryan go ahead and just, out of those questions, just pick out what you want, and let's answer. I'll answer what I can.
Well, cool. All right. Well, let's just start with this. So your podcast has been on hold for a bit. Can you share why and what's been going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's actually the easy one. I put it on hold because I tried doing this in a format of live streaming, and I learned very quickly, unfortunately, that live streaming to do a podcast is not the way to go. And I'm so new at this. It's not even funny. If it wasn't for you with all your suggestions and everything, I would still be using a little Apple, microphone. But I had to stop it because I felt like it was not the way I wanted it. Being, in this industry, being a perfectionist, having severe ADHD and OCD, it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. And I just didn't feel comfortable putting out a shit product for people to see. But there's also other things too, where it really wasn't, and I don't like, I know it's part of the world, but you have to get like these likes and follows and shares and all. Man, I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but no one was really doing anything. There was no interaction. So I just kind of, part of my mentality on it was just like, well, if I give a shit about helping people, but other people don't give a shit about talking about anything, then why am I doing it? Which was completely wrong attitude to take. But it's at the time how my mind worked. It wasn't getting the views, it wasn't getting the likes, it wasn't getting the follows, the shares, whatever. And I went, you know what? It took some time. I stopped doing it because, well, life also got in the way too. Life got in the way, where my kids are now grown and they moved out of the house, and we moved from Nashville down to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, I said it. And Mississippi. And, my dog passed away last year on TSO, which was a big gut punch to me. And then, we got a new puppy, and so there's just so many things that got in the way. The move was the biggest part, making the decision, having to pack the house, having to go from a 5-bedroom house down to, a couple bedroom house to, no kids. So you put all that into play, plus the mental part of, being bummed out of the podcast not doing what I thought it was going to do. I just stopped it. Excuse me. But then I kind of snapped out of it going, wait a minute, I just started. I'm not expecting to make a fortune. I'm not expecting to make any money, but my goal on this podcast, and you and I have talked about this personally, is if I help one person, I will be happy to go through the experiences that I've gone through, to deal with the bullshit I've gone through my career, through my personal life. If it helps one person go, wait a minute, life's not that bad, then I'm okay with it. But I didn't see instant results. Therefore, my brain said, this is a failure. So I stopped it. And then I've had talks with you. I've had talks with other people. Then I started to go, wait a minute, I got to do this better. I got to do it better. So that's where we are today. We're restarting. This is actually going to be the first thing out. And then I've already done a couple interviews that'll start to get released. And I feel better about it. I feel better about the quality. I feel better about the thanks to you, this microphone, and the audio sound. It to me, it's better. Learning to navigate the software, having some fun with it. Before I wasn't having fun. Before it was like, oh, it had to be and no, that's just
You're
life's
getting
too short.
comfortable.
I'm getting comfortable.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I hope that answered that question.
I think it answered a few actually, and that's great. Going off the cuff is just so much easier. You tend to cover a lot of stuff, and that's great. Yeah. Why is the roadie lifestyle such an important focus for you?
It's what I've done for almost 40 years of my life. It's what I know. It's what I'm good at. I love what I do and I hate what I do. It's the biggest love-hate relationship on the planet. And it's like, God, my glasses are dirty.
Oh,
Yeah, it happens. But it's the biggest love-hate relationship on the planet. And my joy still to this day, believe it or not, I mean, almost 40 years later, my joy is when the show goes off without a hitch. My joy is to watch a kid who's come see a show just be in amazement, to watch a family who's busting their ass to make ends meet, spend what little money they have to come see a show and enjoy themselves. That still to this day is the one thing that brings me joy. And it's because of the lifestyle that I'm able to see that and I'm able to experience that. I have crew brothers and crew sisters all over the world that I have worked with and cherish deeply. I have a lot I've lost. And this is what I know. I've met great people. You are one of them. And then there's just a myriad of people that it's such a big industry, but the crew side of it is very small, if that makes sense. So to me, it's important.
yeah, and that's the crew's focus is to make the shows come off without a hitch. And so, how has that mentality worked its way onto how you run this show?
Say that again.
How is the touring experience, making a show that you are putting on right here? How is that experience? How do you bring that into this podcast, the way you run it?
Realism. I am so tired of watching some podcasts, Life, Daily, whatever you want to call it, of just scripted, pretended, trying to find the right word, BS. But I don't.
Wow.
I grew up in a world that was, it's called the Gen X podcast. I grew up in a world where mom threw us out in the beginning of the day. As soon as the sun came up, you had your breakfast, get out the door. I'll see you when the street lights came on. Drank out of a hose, played in mud, whatever. But it was always real. The family was real. The friends were real. There was no hidden agendas. There was no BS. So bringing this podcast to fruition for me is just like when I'm on the road. I am what you get. Yes, I'm respectful. Yes, I'm polite. But at the same time, I've had artists in the past ask me, and unfortunately I can't name names, but I can. Whatever. But I've had artists in the past go, the first time I meet them, they go, "Hey, let me ask you a question." And I stop them. I instantly stop them. And it's just been, and listen, I've done it to Gene Simmons. I've done it to a whole bunch of people. And I said, "Well, let me ask you a question first." And they're always taken back like, "Oh, someone just spoke to me like that." Yes, I did. Who? You put your pants on one leg at a time and you wipe your ass just like I do. So I don't give a shit. The reality is, and I say to them, I say, "Well, let me ask you a question." And they go, "Okay, what?" I said, "Do you want the answer you pay me for, or do you want the truth?" Because here's the deal. The answer you pay me for is just going to be a bullshit bag of lies to make you feel good about your day. And then if it's the answer you're not paying me for and you want the truth, you're going to get someone loyal. So that's how I've lived my life. There was a period of time, many years, that I became a shell of myself. And I just did whatever I was told. I was beat down by certain people. And I wasn't me. And then the pandemic hit. got a great therapist, and I'm back to me from when I was younger. And again, I'm not yes, I'm an asshole, but I'm not disrespectful. I'm not, I'm polite when I need to be, but I'm real. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be. I keep the realism in my touring life with my friends that I'm touring with, my road family. I keep it real. Something goes wrong, I tell the artist or I tell my production manager the truth. Hey, I screwed up, or hey, this happened. Okay, cool. It won't happen again. Plain and simple. Well, that's life. I didn't raise my children to lie or to skirt around things. Own up to your things. Be a true person. So that's what this is turning into, is just real. So I think I went around that whole thing, but I don't know.
No, I think that was very well explained, and we're going to go even deeper here. What do you think outsiders misunderstand most about life on the road?
Oh, this one's easy. This one, I get asked this one all the time, and I love it because everyone thinks we party. Everyone thinks what we're doing out there is one big orgy, drunken, drugged out party. Man, that might have been that in the 80s. And yeah, it was. But now it's I work, I eat, I go to bed. My drugs of choice are Pepto-Bismol and ibuprofen. And maybe an occasional friggin', foot bath. But it's not what it used to be. It's a business. It's a business first and foremost. You do the show. You make sure your show is good. You make sure the fans have a great friggin' time because they're the ones who keep us working. Not the artists. The artists don't keep us working because here's the deal. You can have all the artists in the world. And I hate to burst some artist bubbles right now, but suck it up, Buttercup, because here it comes. But without the fans, you're nothing. You have zero job. Therefore, I would have zero job. So stop thinking you are the be-all, end-all. The ones who take care of their crew and the ones who give the fans a show, awesome. Much respect, much mad love. But the ones who think they are God's gift to this world and that it's because of you, 40,000 people show up in a stadium, you are blowing smoke up your own ass, and I can't wait to watch you fall. End of discussion. But the reality is, because I completely forgot what question you asked me, is that people misunderstand what we do as it's a party all the time. It's not. You literally get up, you go to work, in between you have some laughs, you eat some food, you do a show, you put back in the truck, you take a shower, you go to bed. It's a paycheck.
That was the question, and that's the answer. There you go. Was there a moment in your own journey where you realized how heavy the mental toll of touring could be?
God. There's a few. I think the hardest one hit me was when I was standing on the side of the stage in my Guitar World during the Rob Thomas tour a few years ago. And I got the news that a dear friend passed away. And that one seriously hurt. I mean, Jimmy Johnson was Tommy Shaw's tech from Styx for a very long time. He was Alex Lifeson's tech. He was just an amazing individual as far as friend goes, and an amazing tech. I learned so much from him. It wasn't even funny. Back when I was younger, but that's one of the instances that I can remember was just like a gut punch, a knife straight to my chest. And the other one where I knew the mental health was really kind of, and what I meant by Jimmy passing away, not to stop myself because I do that often, but it just makes you think. It just makes you think that why the hell am I out here if I might not wake up in my hotel room and then my family has to figure out a way to get me home. That was like, that was just mind blown. For me, it's just like, I don't even remember doing that show. Apparently I did it and it was fine, but I don't remember doing it. Because I was so inside of my head. But I think one of the other big times for me was when I knew there was troubles in my first marriage. But I also knew that if I didn't work, we didn't eat. Plain and simple. And a lot of these guys, and I came from that, work to eat, work to pay their bills. Now I don't have to do that anymore. Thank whoever. But I don't have to do that no more, because I got smart after a while and started to think and plan. And I have an amazing wife who keeps me in line. So it's one of those things. By the way, my dog's in here. It's pretty funny. He never sleeps. He never sleeps this long. He's a puppy. He's like only 13 months old. But anyway, so a lot of guys work to eat. And I used to be that guy, and it got in my head. It's like, do I need to go home and save my marriage? But if I do, I don't have a job. I can't pay the mortgage. I can't put food on the table. I got a newborn baby. You see what I'm saying?
There's a lot to worry about besides just the job.
Well, yeah, people think, oh, you're on the road, everything's great. No, man, no, hell no. There is a snowball effect that I used to allow myself to get into, that if one thing crept into my head, let's just say, trying to work on your marriage and try and save your marriage. Well, then there's all those other little things that I said. Well, if I don't work, I don't eat, can't pay the mortgage, can't pay the power bill, can't put food in the baby's mouth. And it just kind of snowballs. And I love the movie. Do not laugh at me. I love the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a stupid movie, but I love it. I'll watch it every time it's on. But there is a part in there where they're sitting in the team meeting and they're going over films from from the last game. And the coach Gene Hackman asks the team, what are you afraid of? And all these guys are going around, oh, I'm afraid of bees, I'm afraid of this. And then Keanu Reeves says, quicksand. And everybody's like, well, what the hell do you mean quicksand? No, quicksand is when one thing goes wrong. And it's just like a show, technically. When one thing goes wrong, then another thing goes wrong, then another thing goes wrong. You sink, you sink, you sink. And I sank. I was my own worst enemy. I sank really low. And it just happens.
Yeah.
And again, thank God, the gods, I had an amazing therapist, thanks to Music Health Alliance, Sheila Biddy and Colleen Hoagland, they found me great medical during the pandemic because I had some medical issues, and I got a great therapist out of it. And she's been with me the whole time, and I don't even need to talk to her much anymore. And if I text her, she's on speed dial. But she has changed my entire mindset about a whole lot of things. And I don't get into quicksand anymore. I start to, but she's taught me how to get out of it. I mean, you're on the road, man. Let me tell you, it's not easy. Everyone's like, oh, no. But anyway.
So yeah, I mean, being on the road, you're with a lot of people, and mental health must come up a lot in your conversations. Why is that so personal and important to you?
Well, the funniest thing is, it doesn't come up a lot. You would think it would, but a lot of people are embarrassed. And when I finally get someone to open up and explain to them, dude, you have no idea what I've put myself through, to the depths I've put myself through them, to the point of not wanting to be here anymore, plain and simple. And then once they gain the trust and not being embarrassed, then they'll talk about it more. And I think sometimes people just need someone to talk to. That's just it. It's like when I come into your office, like when I come up to Nashville to visit and I pop into your office, and it happened when I was there a couple of weeks ago, I just sat on your couch and threw my feet up like, all right, cool. Because we're going to talk. We're going to talk about something. And, I feel comfortable with you. And it's getting people you're touring with to know that. And here's a big problem in our industry. And I'm about to call a whole lot of people out without saying a name. There's a whole lot of people in our industry who will try to get to know you because they want something out of it. Me, I'm too old. I've been doing this too long and have zero shit to give about getting anything out of you, because there's nothing that you can give me My resume will never change. So you can't hurt or help me, but I can help you. Take the knowledge from an older crew guy, or as they call us, the old road dogs, the OG, and just understand we actually give a shit about people. We want to let you vent. We want to let you talk. We want to let you work off of our experience to understand you're not alone. A lot of people feel alone. And that's not just roadies, that's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you serious right now, bro?
do you feel like more people are opening up about it out there on the road when you have a chance to talk with them about it?
I think it's getting better. I think people are understanding it's not what's the word? It's not taboo.
Taboo, yeah.
It's not taboo. It's reality. We are living in a very messed up world right now, and people are so concerned over so many different things that it becomes overwhelming. That I know when I talk to somebody, I feel better. Even if it's for that minute, I feel better. And I think people are now just realizing it's okay to talk about shit. It's okay to open up when they see someone else doing it. I think the younger ones in our industry, when they see someone like me doing it, they're like, wow, okay, here's this guy, been around forever, works for everybody. He can talk. And I think the ones who see that and realize it's okay, that you're not weak. And I think in our industry, there are so many great organizations starting to come up. And some of them, I know some of them, and you're introducing me to more. But there's great organizations that are working to actively talk about and bring light to mental health in our industry. And I think that's amazing. And I think the more they bring attention to it, the more people will start to understand and accept it.
Well, and I also think, like you and your story about coming in here and sitting down on the couch and we're talking about stuff. There's a relationship there. We've known each other a long time, and then there's you with your sessions that you have that relationship with somebody who's helped you open up as well. And I think that's what a lot of people crave, is that relationship value of, hey, this person just started asking me something about something I can really relate to. And I trust them enough to have that conversation with them and open up about it. And I know both of us are made better by that interaction.
100%. And I've had friends, I've had friends who accidentally slipped up and started talking, whether it be on the bus after a show and we're going down the highway and you got a couple in you, but the next day I get, man, thanks for talking to me last night. I really needed that. Even if it was just about stupid, silly shit. Not everything has to be about mental health. Sometimes people mask their real problems with other conversations. People need to learn to realize that, because I've done it. You mask your real issue with another type of conversation that's still, at the end of it, it's either going to make you feel better or worse. And you have to remember that when you're talking to somebody, because you want to make them feel better. You can tell when a crew guy, girl, woman, man, person. Listen, I love everybody.
There you go.
You can tell when they're hurting, but sometimes you can't just go in and go, hey man, what's wrong? Hey,
Right.
You want to talk? No, man, just have a stupid conversation.
Yeah, just get it started, and maybe they'll lead you. It'll lead to that naturally.
Hell, I've had conversations on the bus, just me and another person in a front lounge, or just sitting there talking, just shooting the shit. And we're talking about Marvel, and it morphs. We're talking about superheroes, and it morphs. We're talking about our kids, and it morphs. You have to learn, and that old saying, read the freaking room.
Right.
Read a
Absolutely.
person's body. I've worked my entire career dealing with, I normally deal with the main artist because they're a pain in the ass, or they're really cool and just want someone who wants to, make sure they're taken care of, which is what I
Mhm.
do. But you have to learn to read them. And I've gotten good at it over my career. I can read the artist if they're in a bad mood, if they're in a good mood, if they need something, if they're whatever. You have to learn to read somebody. If you
Yeah.
were to come to me and you're sitting there all quiet and stuff like that, I know something's wrong.
Yeah.
I know something's wrong because you're not engaging. You're looking around incessantly. There's so many different indicators that you just have to learn to read the room. And then you don't got to go, hey, what's wrong? Hey, you want to talk? Come on, tell me what's wrong. Tell me how you feeling. No, man, just talk about stupid shit and it'll morph. And it works
Mhm.
because sometimes people just
Absolutely.
want to be heard. This should be shut and you let them talk like I'm doing right now and I don't shut up.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. And I'm, like a good interviewer, I'm giving you the space, right? That's what it's all about.
It's awesome, brother. I
Yeah.
freaking love you to death.
And I recall a situation where I brought a wireless guitar system out to an artist and they tried it out between their wire and then the wireless. And like, oh, this is great. And then for another 20, 30 minutes, we talked about sci-fi and their kids. So reading the room, and also knowing who you're dealing with too, right?
Yep.
Having a
And
little
sometimes
research before.
it's just a catalyst. That wireless was a catalyst for what was to come.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You got to think. You just have to read the room.
There you go.
Anyway, all right.
Well, so of course you have a lot of being in the industry so long, you've got a lot of connections and network and Facebook friends and all that kind of stuff. What kind of response have you had from listeners who connected with mental health side of your show?
Well, I think it'll grow because we really haven't had many episodes. So people aren't really understanding. I've had some great feedback. I've had obviously these questions. I've had some great questions asked. Um, I'm hoping it'll grow as the episodes move forward with each individual. Now that I have the better format, I have the better look, the proper equipment. But I think the feedback has been good, just not as much as I would like. And I'm not asking for feedback. I'm not asking for praise. I could care less about that. I'm asking for if someone just enjoyed themselves and maybe took something away from it. Because I've watched people, I've watched other podcasts, and I've listened to things, and I've sat in rooms and talked to a shitload of people, and I've taken away something from every one of those instances. And I just want people to understand really simple. It's so simple. The phrase, you are not alone. There are other people going through, have gone through, will go through what you're going through. And it's okay to open up about it because, dude, I'll tell you, I never wanted to see a therapist. Never, ever wanted to see a freaking therapist. But it got to the point where I was talking to a buddy of mine, Andrew Crow, who's a great production manager, tour manager, monitor engineer, front of house guy. He's just all around, just a great guy. And he's also a brother Freemason with me. And a very, very, like you, very comfortable with him, very, very open with him. And he even said to me, you might want to start seeing a therapist, which implanted the seed in my head. Then we were in the pandemic and I was in LA. And I met my brother PJ, and I call him my brother. We're not blood, and it's tattooed on my hand. Family's not just blood, but we grew up together. We went to high school together. He was the best man at both my weddings. He's my son's godfather. We were both happened to be in LA at the same time, which is rare for us. So we're like, let's go to the Rainbow. Got to go to the Rainbow where we're back from the where we started. So we met up at the Rainbow, and I kind of just opened up to him, and he just looked at me and said, you need to see a therapist. And I said, okay, that's coming from someone who I trust more than any. There are two men on this planet No offense, Ryan. There's two men on this planet that we have been friends since childhood that are still my two best friends on this planet that I would die for. He said that to me. I went, okay, that's coming from my brother. I need to. So sure enough, I got back to Nashville, talked to Music Health Alliance, and got the ball rolling. And I think I just want people to know that there is help out there. There is ears out there, because sometimes you don't need to talk. You just need to listen. Let the person talk, man. That's what I loved about my therapist. She, for the first 45 minutes, didn't say a flipping word. She asked me one question and it snowballed from hell. And I was okay with that. And she just listened. And that's what people need. They need to listen. So
Absolutely.
Hope that answers that question, because I don't know where it was going.
No, I think that was good. And I want to, listening is a very important thing, and feeling heard is important too. And there's probably a lot of roadies that feel invisible compared to the artists. How does your podcast aim to change that?
Well, that is actually a pretty cool statement, because we are, by design, roadies are meant to be invisible. We wear all black. We work in the dark. Nobody knows who we are. You see a guitar player with one guitar 1 minute, and the next time the lights come back up, he's wearing another guitar. You don't see who gave him that guitar. So yeah, by design, we are invisible. That will start to play into your mental issues when you feel like, well, I'm on a tour. I really shouldn't rock the boat. I need to make my paycheck. I got to feed my family. And man, I've been down this road. Holy shit. I have been down this road where you just don't want to say anything, because you're been told by the higher ups, whether it's management, tour management, production management, whatever. And I hate saying this, but it's so true. Leading by fear. And what I mean by that is stupid comments that you think are funny, like, oh, there's 10 guys behind you who want your job. Oh, there's 10 guys, there's 10 guys who can do your job. I'm at the part my age. Go ahead, get them. I want you to get them, because I have heard this before, and guess what? I get calls 3 weeks later to fix what they fucked up. And then it costs you 3 times the amount. Ha ha, suck it. And I didn't give the middle finger because I don't want to get in trouble. But you are led by fear. Not everybody. I am so beyond grateful. Like, listen, it's no secret. You and I both know. I work for 2 bands, 3 bands technically, but I work for Bon Jovi and I work for Trans-Siberian Orchestra West, and I do Sabotage when I can. All 3 organizations. Amazing. Amazing. Treated with respect, dignity, first class all across the board with the respect. And that makes so much of a difference in any organization, that you go, you know what? I'm respected here. I'm not treated like a piece of crap. I'm not led with fear. I can be relaxed. There are so many guys on tour that are so paranoid to go, man, catering sucked, or, my truck driver is bouncing around my gear, or bus driver is throwing me out of my bunk. They're afraid to say anything because they're afraid to lose their job. So therefore, they make themselves invisible. They become the small version. They stay in a corner. They do their job. They suck it up, and they don't say anything. But sometimes you have to say something.
Yeah.
And it's all in how you approach it too. There's not a production manager that I know, that I respect, that I couldn't go to and go, hey man, this isn't cool. This isn't how people should be treated. This, flat meat, sweaty cheese that's got mold on it shouldn't be out there. But whatever the case may be, so many crews, and I'm not going to say who because I've run into them, and, at the end of the day, I don't deal with it. So many crews are led by fear. They don't know what to do, because there are guys who are living what I call tour to tour. Most people would call that paycheck to paycheck. Well, they're living tour to tour. And then they panic when the tour is coming to an end to try and fund another tour. You have to plan smarter. Don't be invisible. You are a human being who deserves dignity and respect from other people. If they don't give it to you, then they're not worth your time. They're not
Right.
good people. Plain and simple.
So if there are roadies or true people that are struggling in silence, what advice can you give them?
That's, again, the advice I would give them is basically not the advice for everybody. My advice would just be grow a pair. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve dignity. But you have to understand, in that situation, you don't know what the other person's going through. You don't know their personal life. You don't know their financial situation. You don't know their works. You don't know. And the only advice I would just tell, oh, he's a puppy. The only, he's laying on my feet. But
The only advice is get a puppy. No.
get a dude, best thing in the world, especially when
I'm
your kids
telling
move out. But the thing is, my advice would always be the same: nut up or shut up. Be a man who deserves to be treated with respect. Listen, I got a resume over a course of almost 40 years. I'm not afraid to go, I don't need you. I don't, because my dignity and my mental health is not worth them feeling a power trip. Plain and simple. You want to have a power trip, you can have it. Awesome. Just go away. Just take it over there. So really my advice is just to be a man. You know, be an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it. Nice. Well, and you know, over the course of that 40 years, I'm sure you've heard many unfiltered stories from people.
Yeah.
How do you keep things respectful and sharing those stories and your experiences in those moments?
Well, depends again. Read the room, know who you're with, and know that you can have that story time. I mean, honestly, it's really simple. I don't even get into a diatribe. Just read the room, because if you're in a room full of people and you're telling a story, you're going to want to omit. You're going to want to be careful with what you say, because you want to be respectful, but you still want to have that comedy moment of telling the story. But if you're on the bus, the filters are off. You're letting it fly. I mean, just don't name names. You know, be careful. I still have a couple of non-disclosures in place with certain artists. So I don't say shit. But you know, there's just read the room.
Yeah, it's important to do that. Know what's going on, and again, know who you can talk to, right?
Know what ears are listening to you, and know that one of those sets of ears might use stuff against you. Because I have watched it happen, and I've had people try to have it do it to me, and I cut them off at the knees. Yeah. So there are people in our industry that will try to use stuff against you to gain the upper hand or to gain a step up the ladder in the organization. Especially when you're like, oh, here's a great one. So when you're with a band for a long time, like I was, and I've been with bands for a long time, but when you're there for a long time, you gain a certain respect. You become, you know, the crew chief or whatever. Well, then someone new comes in and they want that job.
Right. Yep.
They'll try. They'll fail with me, but they'll try. And I've walked away. I've literally quit and not cared because it's happened to me. And I just don't care. There are bigger things in this world to worry about than that childish BS.
Right. Don't get too wrapped up in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you can help it.
We're not reinventing the wheel, and we're not curing cancer. We're putting on big shows to make people happy. It's that simple.
Yeah. Beyond a lot of the mental health discussions you may have had, what are some other recurring themes that you keep hearing in some of your conversations with people?
Wow. Reoccurring conversations with people. Um,
Let me throw one at you. Finances, dealing with
oh
that.
God. Yeah.
Is that,
Finances.
I'm sure that can almost go hand in hand with mental health too, because
Oh yeah.
one, yeah,
I mean, look what happened at the pandemic. We were shut down. There was no work for 2 years for thousands of us.
right.
I was getting calls, and trust me, when I say I went down a hole blacker than black. You and I have had this discussion. You know where you know more than most people. I went down a hole blacker than black, and I had to put on a happy face or a happy voice when another person called me panicking.
Right.
And the many great organizations, again, many great organizations out there, many great people out there. Okay, he's going to start. This is freaking hysterical if he does it. He wants my attention, so he hits me with his nose. But anyway, see,
Hello.
you stop it. So basically, there's many great organizations that helped out a lot of crew guys financially.
Mhm.
But it wasn't what people needed. They overextended themselves as far as their monthly bills go, so people were stressing out. And now here we have a pandemic, a once in a century pandemic, once in a whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll never see it again because I won't live past that. But anyway, so yeah, you have financial panicking, you have medical panicking because people have no income, therefore cannot pay their medical. So you have that, and then you have home life. What stress is it putting on your home life? Because man,
Right.
I haven't been home straight for 2 years. Now, granted, I only tour a certain amount of time a year, but before then, I was gone all the time, and you'd be home for 2 years. There's a lot of relationship problems that I was getting calls for, man. It's like,
Wow.
I ain't got a dog in this race, bro. This is new for
Yeah.
me.
That's trying to read a room that you're not in.
Yeah, it's like,
Right?
dude, I'm right there with you. Thank
Right.
God I have a great wife who puts up with my shenanigans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And family, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, so I mean, yeah, we were going through the pandemic with my daughter having to do schooling online, which in honesty brought her up from a C student to an A student, which I'm not
Wow.
complaining about.
No.
It gave her a 3.4 GP, what is it called? GPA. And she didn't have that before because we were able to monitor her schooling.
Yeah.
She had to submit her homework and tests, but we had to review them first. So she
Yeah.
couldn't get away with, hang on one second. My shoes are gone.
Time for a refreshing beverage.
He likes to eat my shoes.
Oh, well, that's always fun. Well,
It's like,
yeah.
stop eating my Skechers. But anyway, so we were able to monitor her better than when she was in school. So it all worked out. But anyway, so yeah, you run into, like, go back to your question. It's just like, those are all the, everyday life things that are happening all the time. People is like, man, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? And listen, again, read the room. And sometimes they just need to vent in their way.
Exactly. And there it is.
There you have it.
So, what are some things that you've done personally to take care of your own mental health while running a show about such heavy topics?
For me, it's talking about it. When I'm able to talk incestuously, being an Irish Italian from Jersey, we talk a lot. But I also take steps to take a break. We moved down here to Mississippi, I'm looking out my window, 2.5 blocks from the beach. And my 2 bonus daughters and my son-in-laws live, 20, 25 minutes away. I'll go fishing with my son-in-law. I'll go down to the beach. You have to learn to do things that make you happy, which is something I growing up in this industry, I never really did because I worked so much. So talking a show about mental health is my therapy. It's my way of paying it forward because I've had, again, an amazing therapist who's helped transform this thing in my skull back to who I really was. And being able to talk about it helps me get it out, helps me know that at least I'm trying to help other people. But at the same time, if it becomes too overwhelming, I'll go in the garage and work on stuff. I'll go to the beach. I'll go fishing with my son-in-law. It's learning to take breaks, and it's for anybody. It's just learning to take a break and find something that brings you joy and go do that, even if it's for an hour, half hour.
Yeah.
You have to learn to take those breaks because if you stay inside your head, you will get lost.
Yeah, I like you, I think balance is a very important thing in your life. Work hard. You find the time for yourself to think about yourself and other things. I mean, just this past weekend, over the long holiday weekend, I went to my son's house and built this massive outdoor play set that took all of about 8 hours and, 500 parts and screws and Allen wrenches and all that kind of stuff to put it together. And
did you read the directions?
Yeah.
We are men. You can admit we do not read directions. I look at the picture and go, that's how that goes.
Well, yes, I did read the directions. However, sometimes even the directions aren't quite clear.
No, they never are, dude. Have you tried reading IKEA directions? Holy crap.
Yeah.
What the hell are they thinking with those directions? You can't understand nothing.
Yeah.
But you also do something really cool. And I've been over your house. You do so. And listen, correct me because I'm going to be wrong because I don't know what they're called. What are the figurines that you have called?
Warhammer.
Dude, the painting and stuff you do on those, mad respect, brother. That I could never do in my life.
And compared to others who are doing it like almost professionally, I'm a novice. So, what you saw was a person with very basic skills. And there are people who they like get under a microscope to paint these things. And it's ridiculous how good they are. But yeah, that for me was a balance. Yeah.
Right. It's a balance. It's cathartic. Just like for me, fishing. It's peaceful. Yeah. It's peaceful. Sitting downstairs building something in my garage at my work box is peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so funny, quick funny story. I was with REO Speedwagon for a long time and Kevin wanted me to learn how to play golf. I'm like, okay, this will be good. This will be real good. This is before my back didn't want to work anymore. So I went and, I had all the friggin' garb, the shoes, the stupid looking clothes, the clubs, everything. And I hated it. But the one thing I liked about it was all I had to focus on was hitting a little white ball and not having to deal with everything around me, not having to push road cases, nothing. No phone, nothing. That was pretty cool. I never got any good at it. I sucked at it like in the worst way, but it didn't matter because, and I talked to Kevin about it. It's like, he goes, it doesn't matter if you suck or if you don't. You're not thinking about anything. Right. You're focusing on a little round white ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay,
hopefully on hopefully a nice, beautiful day outside,
Yeah.
Sucking up clean air and just enjoying something other than being on the stage with that particular person, right?
Exactly. And it's just like fishing. You find a spot, you go fishing, all you're doing is throwing it out, reeling it in, waiting for something to take a nibble. You know what? I shut my phone off and I just listen to the water.
Yep.
I got to get used to saltwater fishing, though. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, next.
On a scale from 1 to 10, my friend, you're fucked.
Hey now. What's your long-term vision for this podcast? Where do you want to take it?
I like to help somebody, even if it's just one person. All of this is worth it. All of this technology, stress, self-doubt, it's worth it. If one person, there are friends, and I'll backtrack here a little bit. There are friends that I've lost that I wish would have talked to me. My phone is always available. If I don't answer, I promise I'll call you back. I'll text you back. If you say 911 or I need to talk, I will drop whatever the hell I'm doing and I will talk to you. There are friends that I wish would have talked to me. Some left us of their own devices. Some left us of their past vices. Some left us because of not taking care of themselves. And some of those guys, not some of them, all of them, but you know what I mean? It's just like, I wish they would have talked to me, even for me to listen. That's what this is about. I'm here to tell you from someone with experience who has gone through a myriad of shit from personal life to professional life. You have no clue what I've been through. And I'm not here. I do not want sympathy. I do not want anything but to tell the story. And if you can relate to one thing that I've gone through in your own life to help you feel better and open up and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, then I have done everything I've wanted to do. I don't care about making money from this, although that'd be great, but I don't care. I've spent my own money to create this world, and I will continue to do so. If it gains traction, hell yeah. If it doesn't, I get it. I'm not looking to be someone's favorite child. I'm looking to be someone's favorite ear, just for me to listen to you and for you to ask questions. So yeah, helping someone. That's my goal. That's my long-term goal. My other long-term goal was, yeah, I like to see this go further and expand, but you know, we can't predict tomorrow. We can only live in today.
This much is true. We're never given tomorrow. It is given to us.
Anyway,
And,
let's do
yeah,
one more.
okay. What do you want your legacy to be with this podcast and the community you're building?
What do I want my legacy to be? Making sure I wasn't eating a shoe. That I try to help people. That there are people out there who don't want anything from you, but to make sure that you live a very long life. Because take it from me, 2007 might have been the last time you and I would ever spoke. And I'll leave it at that. But because I had someone at the time, I'm still here. And that friend never asked anything of me, never used anything against me, left this world, unfortunately, due to natural causes. And he took everything we ever talked about with him. But he always said to me, don't give in. As much as you want to, don't give in. I said, okay. But he always helped people. And his name was Robin Irvine. He was my tour manager for Cyndi Lauper for a very long time that I was with her. And then he was tour manager for Foreigner. But anyway, such a wonderful, decent human being, very rare. And listen, I got a lot of, to coin a Marvel movie, I got a lot of red in my ledger that I need to make right. And I'm not trying to get into heaven by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying to make sure that no one else tries to get there on their own. And if my legacy is to just help people, like people have helped me, then I'm all about it.
That's a beautiful thing, Danny. And I know you will. I'm excited to watch the guest list grow, because I know it'll grow exponentially. And I'm excited to listen to every episode, because it's important to share your story, but also to hear all the other stories out there and what people are going through, and help each other to deal with it in ways that are measurable.
Yeah. Well, and I hope other people that I do have on are okay with opening up, because it's nothing to be embarrassed about. We all go through our own journeys. We all go through our own hardships, our own celebrations. And you just, if you're okay with talking about it, awesome. If you're not, I respect that 100%. This podcast is not just designed around mental health. It's designed to tell funny stories from the road, and to laugh about stupid shit we've done, and to tell stories of whatever within the legal limits of the law. But it's designed for not just roadies, but it's about roadies, because I believe, and you said a great thing before about being invisible. We're not invisible, because if it wasn't for roadies, there would be no shows. That's and right. Artists who I respect realize that and take care of their crew. Awesome. The ones who think that we're expendable, go to hell. Huh? Sorry, just being real. I'll edit that out probably. But you know what I mean? It's just like, we need to stop feeling invisible and know that we have a voice. We could be heard. I see you. What are you doing? Look at this. Get over here.
Puppy wants to be heard.
I love you. But anyway, so that's really what it comes down to. Be it's time to come out of the shadows and know that it's okay to be a human being.
Indeed it is. Absolutely.
There you have it.
Well,
all right,
cool.
my brother. Well, thank you, very much. I will hit you up. Love to you and the family. And then we will talk soon. Everyone, Ryan Smith from Shure, such an amazing individual. If you need anything from Shure, I suggest you get your ass out there and call Ryan and get what you need and buy it, because it's really cool stuff.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate your
brother.
time today. It was fun.
We'll talk soon, my friend.
Take care.
All right, buddy. Bye.